Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, your dogs, your hamster, your animals, welcome. It is me, your fellow bank robber. Just got myself this Rolex right here, and this is a bear.
Howdy.
And it appears that you have joined us on this very special Halloween episode of the Late Night BS podcast. The mask is off and we're about to go and tell you some large amounts of shit. Right, this is me, Jakob, or also known as Jakobu, and that is my co-host. I'm not sure if that's Mawson anymore or if that's a fucking creepy bear. Yeah. So I'm not sure if he's going to take that off ever and introduce himself, but here we go. Let's get into the news.
Howdy, chips and sheldy.
Welcome, Austin. How do you do?
I'm doing pretty darn amazing.
Yeah.
I'm glad. You know what you look like, what you really remind me of?
What?
If Agent 47 had sex with Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer and produced an offspring, Jesus.
I was going for payday, to be honest.
Well, you failed, mate.
I'm taking these rubber gloves off. I'm not doing any killing today.
That's a shame. I want to keep my gloves on.
You have welding gloves. Interesting.
Well,
Right, well, let's get in. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Halloween special of the Late Night BS podcast. Very special, 2-hour special. How many times can I say special? I don't know. Today we're also joined by special guests, Spooky Scott Steiner and Halloween Porg, who we have mic'd up in case any not normal activity comes from him. Oh shit.
oh no.
Shit.
Guys, we're gonna die! Aha!
Well, that was spooky. Alright, that wasn't spooky. We got the lights, we got the fireplace, we borrowed straight from Hogwarts. We got fucking Harry Potter's broom, some astrology, Baby Groot's holding that up. Everything. We got everything today. And our favourite selection of horror films, including Wrestlers versus Zombies, which is something that you should definitely watch.
It's a masterpiece. You get to see sexy Kurt Angle, you get to see rowdy Roddy Piper in literally a C-class movie, but you can't complain. You got zombies. That's what more you want in life. Zombies is everything.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. Yeah, it is. Anyways, so, what shall we do first, my spooky friend? I got some stories lined up for you. I got some trials lined up for you. I got myself. No, I don't. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the first story, I reckon, because that is the format that this podcast is going to be taking, is spooky stories. Are we going to read them? Well, I'm going to read them. I'm the dungeon master today, baby. And Mawson is going to react to them. That is what we're going to do today.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yes, that sounds a plan.
Yeah. Alright, great. So, you want a spooky voice, Mawson?
Yes, but I want to have a mixture of spooky voices, okay?
A mixture of voices.
Yes. So, what voices can you do?
Sponsored by Water of Ice. I can't do very many voices, to be honest. I'll just do that dumb English voice, that dumb horror English voice. Hello and welcome to the spooky stories with Jakobu.
It's more so like a man that goes and serves beer at the local tavern. But
Alright, welcome to the Bond, the Black Ball in Blackpool. We serve tinnies. Tinnies already made a return. Alright, let's go, everybody. So, Mawson, the first story got brought up to you today. Of course, it is from Reddit, r/scary stories. Only 11 upvotes, this one. Very low amount of upvotes, so it may not be popular. But when I read the first few lines, it did get me going. Pretty short, this one.
You only read the first few lines.
Yep. Get ready.
Lazy host right here, lads.
Get ready. Alright. And this is a true story posted by Lee Lux 20, right?
Lee Lux?
Yeah, Lee Lux.
Sounds like a fucking evil Superman villain. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Lee Lux.
Yeah. It sounds like something like the main competitor to Sillet Ban. Lilac Dirt Release. Right.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, let's get into the spooky stories. Hi. I'm not sure if this is a girl. I'm gonna do a Mon's voice.
Mons, ooh.
Hi. So I'm new to this, so bear with me. This is a true story. I'm a 22-year-old girl and live in upstate New York. Flashback to when I was a child, probably around 6 or so. My dad has... Alright, so first of all, this was 12 years. 12? Jesus, how many? 22 minus 6 must have fast.
22 minus 6.
16 years ago. 16 years ago is what she should have put, but judging the writing. My dad and his friend, who we'll call Kurt. Kurt lives in a small house on the main street in our town. My dad would go over there a lot and hang out in his pole barn behind the house and do whatever dads do for fun. If you don't know what a pole barn is, it's like a large garage where people keep things like boats, four-wheelers, etc.
So we've got a yuppie story right here.
Yeah, pretty much.
A boat? Who has a boat in their garage?
Well, I don't know. Americans, I suppose.
But, okay, so they just store the boats in the garage. Jesus,
Yeah,
how...
It's a big garage. Mind you, it said a small barn. A large garage, sorry, with a small house. Anyways.
So they spent all the money on the garage and just bought a one-bedroom house? Respect.
Not sure it's spooky, but let's go. The dads of the group would spend their time messing with the stored items and drink lots and lots of tinnies. That says beer, but I'm gonna read it as tinnies. As a kid, when my dad would take me with him, I'd usually make castles out of beer cans.
Jesus
as he had
Christ.
no toys for me to play with.
That's so depressing, poor child.
It's like, when I was a kid, I was building tinny forts.
That's so sad. Imagine you growing up and it's like, so what new toys did you get? Well, I got the Xbox 360 for Christmas. Well, I got the new PS4. My dad give me 10 pack of beer!
Some beer, mate. Aye. As there had no toys for me to play with. I'd been to Kurt's pole barn many times, but never was able to go into his house. I'm still a curious person to this day and love to explore people's homes. Bit creepy. It gives you a different view of their private lives. One day I asked Kurt if I could see his house.
Wait. Go rewind back.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'm a curious person to this day and love to explore people's homes. It gives you a different view of their private lives.
Well, let's start off. Yes.
It's like that moment you go into your dad's drawer and discover that the lightsaber you've been playing with as a kid was a green dildo.
That's too specific for something. I think you're hiding something right there. Okay. But, yes. Everyone, if you go break into someone's house, don't do this, guys. Just a recommendation if you want to stay out of prison. But if you do, everyone's got a persona when they go outside. So, what are they trying to gain? And also, I'm getting impressions either she's a pedo or she is the next fucking James Bond, sneaking into people's houses. Jeez, my brain.
Don't know, man. Maybe this is where the story goes. So one day, I asked Kurt if I could see his new house, just to see what it looked like. He said yes and gave me the tour. I don't remember the upstairs. Well, you were 6, to be honest. But I do remember the basement. It's a little blurry in my memory, but the feeling, I remember well. The basement served as the master bedroom and had a bar in it. What? A bar in the bedroom, in the basement?
It's weird to have a master bedroom in the basement. Master bedroom's meant to be the...
Upstairs, right?
Yeah. Well, it's
or at least on the first floor. It's not underground.
The master bedroom's the bedroom you show off the house. It's like, yes, the 3 standard bedrooms upstairs. Masters, yes, you're in the cellars. You're in the scum, yes.
If you'd like to follow me to under fucking ground, where I've got my bar / bed, I keep the titties there. Anyways, it was cool looking, but I had this feeling of unease. The air was thick and it was dark brown there. I didn't think of it much at the time. All I knew is that I wanted to get out of there. I had no idea how they slept down there every night. I never went into that house again after that. Fast forward to the present. I work with my parents and my dad is still friends with Kurt to this day. My dad spends less time at Kurt's place as life gets busy with the Modelo bug. Made it we couldn't see anyone. About 2 weeks ago, my dad stopped over to catch up. Kurt told him about some work they were doing to the basement. His wife, who we'll call Trixie, was digging in the crawl space to clear it out. I'm not 100% sure what they wanted to do with it, but it was filled with dirt. As Trixie was digging, she got a really bad feeling. The dirt was packed in tight and very hard to remove. Kurt told my dad that Trixie was unnerved by the crawl space and refused to dig it out herself. She told him, "I feel like I'm about to dig up a body down there." So they ended up hiring someone to dig it out. Wait, dig it out? The body or the...
Wait. So they're already assuming that there's a body in the crawl space?
Yes. They are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
respect that.
you have a boat, a bar bedroom, and now you assume there's bodies in every crawl space.
But it's upstate New York, and the mobsters, well, how would you hide a body?
Under your house, of course.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's darkest next to the lighthouse, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you don't throw them in the water, you go and keep them in the house,
Don't try to hide it, just... You done it.
Yeah.
Hey, what you gonna do about it?
Hey, you use it proud, pride adds real estate to the house.
Yeah, it's value.
Yeah.
Value, innit? Amazing.
Respect.
Hello there, guys. It's me, Spooky Satan Boy, on behalf of the Late Night BS podcast. Thank you for listening to the Halloween special. What they found still gives me heebie-jeebies. They hired help was digging and... Jesus, can't read, sorry guys. The hired help was digging and ended up unearthing bones. They were small, so he assumed they were from an animal that had somehow made its way into the crawl space and died. The man removed the bones for Kurt and his wife to see. Trixie was freaked out. It's almost as she saw something that was dead down there. Oh, it was dead, it was bones. Kurt put the bones in the pole barn and showed my dad. On a closer examination, they realized they kind of looked like human bones.
Right. Since when was the dad,
a doctor?
A doctor, yes. How can you tell a difference between, a human bone
or
and
cow?
Yeah.
Or like something that size, a pig, cow, sheep.
Yeah, I doubt you have, the anatomical knowledge of
how big a bone is.
Yeah.
You've only seen it in books before, haven't you?
Well, yes. This guy's lying. He murdered the person.
Do you reckon this guy's a killer?
Yeah.
He murdered someone in his friend's house. Remember, this is the daughter, and this is her father's friend's house that they're finding this underneath. Yeah.
Yeah, we've nailed it. Case solved. That's it, guys. Well done. Let's go end the podcast.
Amazing.
See you next week.
Well, the other hour and 40 minutes can just fuck off, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get back to the story because it hasn't fucked off, sadly. I'm very sorry, Moston. Very sorry about this. I just want to see how this ends, because we've already predicted, but I want to see the real end. Anyways, my dad left that night giving it a little thought. There was no way they were human, right? We just said they looked like human bones. Wrong! Kurt ended up calling the police to check them out just in case. Turns out they were human. His place was swarmed with cops and a forensics team. The crime scene had been destroyed by a man moving the bones and digging up the dirt. The forensic guy told Kurt that the bones were from either a child or teenager. No idea what gender. They were also most likely around 50 to 75 years old, meaning they were buried when our town was still farmland.
So I thought, they could look at DNA through bones. They can. That was discovered in the 90s and that.
Yeah.
So you tell me they cannot, drill a hole, get that DNA sample out, go and put it through the computer.
Well, they did. That's how they know that it's 50 to 75 years old.
Yeah, but they not even determine if it's a child or a teenager.
Could be very immature teenager.
What? So we measure bones age by the maturity of the child?
I don't know. Maybe they're on like a testosterone booster. They're making huge gains in the gym. They're 12 years old and their DNA comes out as 18. Metabolic age 30.
Yeah, so they're going
taking in 4,500 calories a day.
So the next fucking Ronnie Coleman, they're like,
yeah.
Wait, baby!
Yeah, exactly.
In the gym, yes.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, maybe. You don't know.
Supposedly these kids now are genetic freaks.
Jeez, we're speaking about a dead person.
We're very respectful.
I mean, they could have been huge, you never know.
Genetic freak. We complimented them.
Exactly. Anyways, the news shocked me. I knew there was something up with the basement. Come to find out, it's pretty good at sensing energies in places. Okay. It's been around 2 weeks since the bones were found. As I said, it's kind of turned into old news now. The person who buried the bones is probably long dead by now. Who knows if the case will ever be solved. I'm a huge fan of true crime, so I hope it will be. The most disturbing part about the whole thing is that there are only a few bones in the crawl space, no skull or the rest of a skeleton. That leads me to believe that the poor child or teen was dismembered and the body parts are buried in different places. I don't know for certain, but how do only a few bones end up down there? I really need answers, and I'm shocked that this happened to someone I've known my whole life. I hope the kid in the crawl space received the justice they deserve.
Jesus,
That's quite spooky at the end, isn't it?
It's quite sad ending, yeah.
Yeah, it's sad, spooky. That's got me in a whole lot of emotions.
No, I'm a bit sad. Well, thank you, Jacob. This is an uplifting podcast, and
this is what you get about. This is what you get when you read only the first 2 lines.
Well, there you go, guys. I love that. It was a very positive note, but a bit creepy. Jeez.
Just for everyone to see why Moss is making this face, I just pointed out a story to him, and the title was "I Died Last Night."
Well, I'm just trying to think. If you found them, fucking your bones down there, what would the first thing you do would be moving out of that house? How creepy that would be, Jesus. You've been sleeping in the house with a dead body, and then I suppose if you really think about it, most likely there's been dead bodies in your house before.
Yeah.
Through battles, wars.
Maybe.
Yeah, human history is pretty long, mate.
Probably, yeah.
So you're statistically have a couple corpses laid dead now and again, which haven't been cleaned up.
What, underneath your house? What, just in the dirt?
Oh, yeah.
There's not that many people out there, especially where we live in a small city. But see, I think somewhere in like the middle of, I don't know, well, Europe had a lot of medieval history, so in a big city in Europe, like Paris, right, obviously they have the catacombs and stuff like that. But surely, yeah, you're right, there must just be remains of people everywhere.
There'll be battles upon battles.
When people died in back in those days, it's just, body car, and, they buried them.
But it was also common, people just stab at each other, if you're angry,
You throw down the glove and you fence them on the middle of the street to the death.
It was common. President Andrew Jackson, the man, he's fucking insane, this man. While president, he challenged like 4 people to duels during the presidency. This is just how you solve problems back in those days. You're like, rather than having a civil debate or saying something about that, fuck it, we'll just have a duel. Maybe that's what we should bring back. Next presidential debate, a duel. Joe Biden against Donald Trump. I like to see that happening.
Oh god. Why? What? I don't know if I would. It's 2 old men fighting each other with swords. Or would it be a handgun?
No, but handgun, it'll be flintlock pistol. Yeah.
Flintlock, yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be great viewership. Oh, good fun.
I think that fight, it reminds me of in Pirates of the Caribbean where Will Turner fights Captain Jack Sparrow. If when when they're like jumping up and Jack Sparrow hits him with the plank and stuff like that. The unorthodox fighting method. I feel like that would be kind of what they're.
I kind of got a feeling that it'll be bang, and then they both fall over, and that's pretty much the end of the duel.
Maybe they both miss. Maybe they're both very good man and miss.
Well, very good, that's bad. You want to hit your opponent.
I don't know, maybe they're just sparing each other.
You would not survive in the Wild West. Oh, Jesus, man.
No, I'm just
I'm just a nice guy. Bang! A stormtrooper shot and miss. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm dead. But as long as I didn't hit that person.
Amazing.
It's just unbelievable. The man, Andrew Jackson, back to that story. The man, during one of his presidential duels, he got shot in the stomach, and then he just didn't even react. He didn't rally. He let the first person have the first volley, because the man is insane. And he got shot in the stomach, and he didn't even react to it. And he just went and just went bang and shoot him in the head, and he died.
Oh my god!
And there was another. Here's something about this man. There was a nearly assassination attempt on him. There was a man jumped out with 2 flintlock pistols and fired, bang, and the bullets went pop, pop, and just rolled out the thing, and the president beat the guy to basically death. And analysing the guns later on, turns out the guns would have fired fine, and worked fine. They tested it. It was something like predicted. It was like 1 out of 6 million that would happen, that both would misfire.
Yeah.
But people just say it's because the bullets were scared of Andrew Jackson.
Oh my god. Good. That's like he seems to have a reputation like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
He's been so he had a lot of slaves and he was but
great Judas though.
he was able to be shot and survive. I don't really call that as much an achievement.
Jeez.
It's kind of like the old days of boxing. Yes, I can get the one who can survive the most punches in the head is the greatest boxer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the 20s, yeah.
Yeah. We should bring that back to boxing. Rather than, Egyptian King against Anthony Joshua. I want them to just watch them punching each other in the head and see which one drops.
Non-stop, yeah. Like, what was that boxing match I spoke about? How many rounds was it? Until they died.
Oh, there was a boxing match during the 1920s, and it went to 101 rounds, and then at the end they decided to call quits because literally the opponents were covered in blood, teeth smashed out of that, and they just couldn't continue. There was just blood everywhere. Imagine boxing 101 rounds, Jesus. How long would that be? That would be like 8 hours?
I don't know, I can't box 5 minutes.
But imagine that. Being an audience member, imagine cheering for 8 hours. How would you have energy to do that?
Probably eating, they're probably drinking water like me right here. It's blue, this water.
Well, I would say it's the 1920s, but that's when Prohibition came about. So yeah, they're probably drinking water, but yeah.
They probably were. Alright, so back to the Spooky Spirit Master, because I found some good ones here. I found some juicy ones right here.
Ooh.
Which one would you like out of these titles, right? Just look away and imagine the title, Master, right? We can either have I booked a cabin in the mountains. The previous guest left a strange entry in the guest book.
Oh, that's nice.
Blot the Baffer or Wife.
See, the first one, I like the idea, because whenever you look back at the guest book, when you look back, I don't think they ever see them now, do you? It's only really old.
It's electronic now, isn't it?
But when you look back, I always looked back, and you'd get some really weird, funny comments saying, like, oh yes, the room was gorgeous. You get the classic comment saying, the room's gorgeous, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or you'd go back and you'd find, oh yes, the party we had was fantastic.
We did 200 tinnies.
We smashed the TV and everything, but it was a smash. There was a hotel that up in Scotland called Lochfine that I used to go to, and I remember the guest book there it had, and it was like, and there was just a bunch of random drunk quotes in there. It was like, we're a drinking competition, and the man would write, I had 70 beers, and like, okay, that's a weird flex, but there you go.
Yeah, weird flex, but okay.
Let's go for that one. Yes, I like the lights.
So the cabin one, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, your audience, if you're fascinated about the other ones, but
we'll get to them. We have 2 hours.
Oh, that is true.
We could do them. We'll see at the end of this one how we feel.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys want to hear the one called Wife,
or not.
Anyways.
Right, come on, Morgan Freeman. Come with the Morgan Freeman voice. Come on.
I can't.
You need to. Go and suck in your guts. Push down your food.
I booked a cabin in the mountains. The previous guest left a strange entry in the guest book. Yeah, baby, lightweight. Whoa.
Okay, that was a terrible Ronnie Coleman impression. Yeah, but fuck, I can't do it.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy, lightweight, baby.
Okay, I can't do Ronnie Coleman. Anyways, we love Ronnie Coleman. If we could have Ronnie Coleman on the podcast, it would literally make my life.
I would love to speak to that man. I could speak to the man for hours.
I'd ask him everything.
I would ask, the top question is, I still got a theory with Ronnie Coleman, guys. I think when he says like, lightweight baby and all that, I think he's crying out for pain. He's been broken by lifting so much weight, so his mind cannot say, help me. It's like, lightweight baby, ah! His mind is just rotted because of all the reaching. He just cannot comprehend all the... Jesus, the man looks,
I love Ronnie. Ronnie, if you're listening to this, don't take the abuse from Master.
I'm not. I love you, man. You look like you're designed like a... It looks like he's designed by a comic book villain to go and kill Batman or something like that.
It's huge. It's like the man could win a wrestling match with the Hulk.
How are we to the same species? I'm a baby compared to him. I'm literally look. He's like this. He's like 12 of me.
He's like this table. Okay, it's not that one. It's like the white dude in me. But
he is. He has to walk sideways through the door.
Yes. Alright, well, ladies and genitals, sorry for Sorry for keeping you up there with the Ronnie Coleman story. So, I booked a cabin in the mountains. The previous guest left a strange entry in the guest book. I moved to Seattle from Kansas about 5 years ago. I'm one of those tech bros, as all you locals are always comparing, have ruined your city. I guess it's my city now.
Tech bros. So, we've got bro scientists.
You got them iPods and them Nintendo Entertainment Systems.
So, bro scientists are the ones which, believe in, all this rubbish. So, as tech bros are like, aye, slower processor means more efficiency and it's better.
Yeah, maybe. What's a tech bro? There'd be a guy that's like, well, I play Mario on my MacBook sometimes, but I just use it to watch porn all the time.
You wouldn't sound like that. I'd be like, hello, I'm a tech pro, okay? I have an Apple MacBook and I am the best. I game pro in this. I run Doom at 40 frames per second.
I run Doom at 200 frames per second.
Look at this, guys. Weird flex.
I'm gonna lie. I do have a gaming YouTube channel. You making fun of me? Hey, you wanna go, son? You wanna go? I got Ronnie Coleman on my side. He's gonna come bursting through that door like the Kool-Aid man. He's gonna go lightweight and just throw you through the window. Exactly.
I got no chance. I
would
would die against Ronnie. Who wouldn't win against Ronnie? I would pay millions if they see Ronnie Coleman.
We're trying to do horror stories. We speak of Ronnie Coleman.
Yes, but imagine Ronnie Coleman in UFC match. Ronnie Coleman against Conor McGregor. I'd love that.
Rest in peace, Conor McGregor. So, anyways, Tech Bro says, one of my favorite things about the Pacific Northwest is the mountains. I try to get away from the city as often as I can. So when I found the cabin on the Skykomish River, nice, I decided I would treat myself to a midweek getaway in the early fall. I arrived this morning. The cabin was very cozy, tucked away among the trees next to the river banks. There was a hot tub on the back deck, and Wi-Fi for us tech bros who like the facade of roughing it. I put my bags on the bed and decided to explore inside before I explored out. Jesus Christ, this guy. Us tech bros. It's like a cult.
He's a master race, yes. The PC master race is part of.
I identify as PC master race. No.
I'm a MacBook.
The last time I was on my PC was too long ago. Actually editing the other podcast, that's when it was. There was an extensive DVD collection, but mostly romantic comedies and family movies. Magazines from 5 years ago. I love rom-coms. Littered the coffee table. In a little notebook in the bedroom, I found a basket containing a few notebooks. In a little nook, in the bedroom, I found a basket containing a few notebooks and local travel guides. The notebooks were, according to all the labels, for guest notes. I smirked and laid down with the most recent one. I'd probably get a kick out of this. It was mostly what I expected. People talking about their kids and their dogs and how much they loved the hot tub and the river. Pretty boring. I flipped through the book until I got to the most recent entries. It looked like the last guest had written a few pages. 10th of October 2020. 10 p.m. Oh, this is a very recent story then. 10th of October 2020, 10 p.m. The noises started around 8:30 tonight. At first we thought it was just the rain. We never should have read that book we found in the woods. My eyes widened and I looked more closely at the page. This is a little bit more interesting than the white bread entries before. Oh shit, what would you do if you found that? First line. Just, the noises started at 8:30 p.m. Shouldn't have picked up a book in the woods.
Well, I'd think of, why we're in the woods and there's a book in the woods? If you came across that book in the woods, would you pick up and read it?
No, but maybe if I'd just been after a breakup or something, I had to, get some adventure in my life.
What? So your adventure is to go and find books in the woods?
Well, no, not that way, but this guy probably felt like Indiana Jones. They were like, ooh, book in the woods, wow, yes. Spooky, wow.
Yes, the next Indiana Jones 5. Dr. Jones goes and tries to find the American Psycho.
I'm just gonna warm myself on the fire right here. It's a very cold flame.
Okay,
very cold, spooky.
A very strange flex there again, but okay. Oh yes. I'll keep warm with my green flame.
I like the green flame, don't you?
Well, yes, it contains probably potassium.
Spooky. You're all gonna get chemical poisoning.
Actually, no, it's copper. Yeah,
Copper's green.
Yeah.
Copper burns green. Yeah.
I actually know
Wow,
it's a
we're
chemist.
such nerds. Well, maybe red is the wrong word. There wasn't enough in any language we understand. Oh shit, sorry, this is the other people actually speaking, not the author. Well, maybe red is the wrong word. There wasn't enough in any language we understood to actually read. It was nothing but weird symbols and grotesque drawings, except on the very last page with red in English, when darkness overtakes the day. That's when old Gugu likes to play.
Google.
Teeth's Gugu.
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 Teeth
It's
so
not.
sharp, eyes so red. Once you see him, you're good as dead. What's Gugu?
If you're trying to make a monster sound scary, you know, Gugu sounds like what you name your teddy bear when you're 2 years old.
I don't know,
That's what you
man.
call poor Gugu.
See what makes me shit myself sometimes is these stories of like little kids when they have nightmares, and in their nightmares like their toys come alive and they start walking towards them like the bears and stuff, and they come and like choke them and they wake up and they remember this when they're like 16. They remember they had this dream when they were like 2. I'm so glad I never had night terrors as a
Guys.
child.
He's talking about Toy Story. He's a bit confused.
Wait, that happened in Toy Story? Wow,
Toy
whatever.
Story is about the toys coming to life. Have you watched Toy Story? Oh, mate.
I think I have a little bit of your spit in my eye. Very spooky. Anyway,
That's
I have
rude.
watched Toy Story, but in Toy Story the toys are alive, yeah, but they don't kill Andy. Well, Sid's toys are sadistic, right? But
Well, they scarred Sid.
yeah.
Well, they
But
killed
what I
him
mean-
alive.
But what I mean most is have you never had a nightmare as a kid? I haven't, but I know some people have. Is like you're sleeping with your bear, right? And you're in the nightmare. You kind of wake up and you see from third person everything what's going on, and your toys they like start crawling towards you, and making weird sounds and stuff. And you wake up and you're like, shit, is this real or is this fiction? Never. That scares me. That scares me.
I think
That kind of stuff.
I think the scariest things, which is because that's not
Do you
reality.
No,
That's
but-
I think when you
Have you never shot yourself from a dream?
if it's true, if it could be possible, yes. I don't believe in, I'm not scared of Friday the 13th, a man will kill me during my sleep, in my dream, or, something like that. It just, I think the most scariest people are, people like Ted Bundy and those sort of ideas, that something that can be possible, which could happen.
Maybe. Well, do you think Gugu is a monster or a man? Or what do you think Gugu is?
Sounds like a
we
toy.
shall read on. It does, but when you see him, you're good as dead. Okay, pretty weird, but whatever. These noises, though, we thought it was dripping rain, but it isn't the right cadence. It sounds more like licking, and every so often there's a crunching sound. Maybe it's just our imaginations. We aren't used to the forest after all. It's so dark and quiet, so every sight or sound seems magnified. As I was closing the curtains in the bedroom, it looked like something was standing at the riverbank. Something vaguely human, but with large horns and big wings folded behind it. My husband says it was a tree, but I looked back and it was gone. Time for bed now. I hope I can sleep. The noises haven't stopped.
Okay.
Jeez.
After seeing that, yeah.
Well,
I suppose your mind plays tricks on you. It's
yeah,
not...
yeah, when you're very tired, things like this happen, but see, even when we went camping, were you scared of anything in the dark? Do you see anything in the dark? I remember we had this whole thing going on where we were, having a few around the campfire that there was a serial killer in the woods.
Nah, the
You
most
remember?
scariest thing I had found in camping is sleeping in the tent with like a massive person. The man was a unit and I had no room, and I was scared he would roll over me during the night and I'd be just squashed like a whoopee cushion and I'd be dead. That's
Right.
what I was scared
So Moss
about.
is not afraid of serial killers, he's afraid of the people he shares tents with.
I think it's more plausible scared to be scary of.
That's why you just sleep in a single man, innit? Get cold.
See, that in some ways more terrifying. Because
Because
if
you're
you're
alone.
by yourself, you can be picked off.
Yeah, exactly. Easy target.
Yeah,
So would you sleep with another man or get picked off?
that's a good question.
You have socks on, mind you, in this situation.
How does that make a difference?
Well, it's not gay if you have socks on. Never heard that saying? Well, anyways, back to the horror story. Well, story. By the way, I wonder, we'll discuss this at the end, whether it's real or fiction, when we hear the whole thing. Because see the book at the beginning, it sounded like some kind of occult book, like some Cthulhu shit, you know, yeah, exactly. It sounded like some satanic book, you know, like the Necronomicon, the book of all evil and stuff like that. No, never heard of the Necronomicon. It's like it's like the whole book that people that practice like dark magic and stuff, they read it. It's pretty much like, it's not like a Bible, but it's sort of like their encyclopedia.
Oh.
It's like, I think they reference to something like in Harry Potter, has teeth in Harry Potter.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
Wait, so
I think.
Can you just buy this from any bookshop then?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's genuinely a published book, the Necronomicon.
So, and what does, if you read out a sentence, magic
I don't know what
happen?
happens, I don't know.
Oh.
Probably nothing, but it is just a book you can buy. It's been translated by different people. Yeah, I was reading a thing on Wikipedia about
it's like the Ouija board.
the Ouija board.
It's from like Hasbro.
It's widely adapted, and you can just buy one. No, but this is apparently centuries old, like pretty old, the Necronomicon, things like that, so it's been going for a long time.
So it's gonna be, you do old English then?
Maybe, I don't know, never read it, never really been into dark magic, you know.
Oh, so you should be.
Yeah. So, after this, the guy that's writing the article now, or the guy that's writing the story says, I chuckled, clearly someone was getting into the Halloween spirit and having some fun with it. Still, I looked up and thought through the window of the bedroom at the raging river beyond, and I felt a little uneasy. The sun was starting to set, and the big picture windows did give the impression that someone or something could be watching from the woods. I get up and close my curtains before continuing reading, just to ease my mind. Jeez, this is a long entry inside this guest book, right? Because this is what the people.
But you only get like a little box, like you can write 2 sentences. It's not that much you get.
Yeah, but they're doing entries every day, and they're pretty big.
So it's a diary.
Yeah, it's almost a diary inside the guest book.
That's quite selfish. They're taking up the whole guest book just for themselves.
11th October 2020, 7:45 a.m. The bed in this cabin is wonderfully comfortable. My husband slept like a rock. However, I kept dreaming about a horned creature standing at the corner of the bedroom staring at me. My husband said it was just a dream. But when I got up this morning, all of the curtains were opened. My husband says he didn't touch them and I must have left them open last night, but I know I didn't. At least the noises have stopped. I plan to enjoy the hot tub and relax today.
Nothing really scary out of the ordinary. You'd think you do some stuff, but sometimes you don't.
Maybe.
You know, you can't have a tub.
I think curtains can open on their own. It's still plausible.
They do have those like electric curtains where you can press buttons and they can malfunction.
Remember, people do things in their sleep. I've learned to turn off my alarm in my sleep. My phone alarm. I will find it, turn it off before it goes on in my sleep. That's how much my body wants to sleep.
I just think you're lazy.
No, it's taught itself. In the middle of the night. I've done this. I've unplugged my Alexa while sleeping.
When I was younger, when I was very young, I used to sometimes get out of bed and then I would walk down the stairs.
While sleeping? I did that too.
And then I would like go and set the dining table or something like that.
Oh, that's some creepy shit. What would you do if your child just started walking down the stairs and setting the dining table while sleeping? Their eyes are closed. What would you do?
My dad just slept for it.
Oh, right. Well, who found out then?
Well, I would wake up in the morning with my knife and fork around in front of me.
Jeez, that's weird.
I suppose I'm ready downstairs, ready for food. It's quite good.
I used to apparently walk out of my room and walk out the stairs, and my dad apparently caught me once. And I was like, in our old house, we had a chairlift, because the person that lived there before us lived there with their grandmother who needed the chairlift. And apparently, I was trying to get the chairlift to work while sleepwalking down the stairs. I was like 7 years old, right? And he apparently just sort of guided me to walk back up the stairs and walk back into my bed. I've never had anything like that happen recently, but maybe that's the weird ability I have to turn off my Alexa at night. Because I swear you walked into my room once and turned it off. And I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? Why is he turning off my Alexa? He wants me to be late for uni? No, it isn't. It's just a part of me doing it, I think.
I think you're just going insane, mate. You're just going insane.
Yeah, maybe.
I think unless you just never set the Alexa. That's just the most plausible.
No. Like off as in the cable out of the Alexa.
Oh, that's just lazy there. You're just pulling out the wall.
Yeah, I know, but what kind of mind that's asleep do say, hey Alexa, turn the light off?
I don't understand how sleepwalking even works.
I don't either. I think it's probably your memories, what you remember from muscle memory is something like repetitive tasks.
True.
If you think about something very long.
Well, it's blind people. I know a couple of blind people that they can walk up, if they get familiar with the space, they can walk up and down the stairs of the house.
Yeah, it's like you have like a map in your head almost.
Yeah. Well, first a blind person goes to a new location. The first thing they do is feel around walls and that to get their sort of mind map of it. So they can know, and then eventually they can just walk around and just like they're not blind at all. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah, humans have that sense actually. Some animals don't have that, like the depth perception and things like that. Even when you're not looking, you can still, I'm going to try to demonstrate, so hopefully I can. You can still touch the tips of both of your fingers together, even when you're not looking. Look, I'll swing my fingers, I know where they are. Because humans, at least for our own bodies, we know exactly, look, I can do this, I can do this, I can do everything without looking. Because I know roughly where it is. I know roughly this is where Mostyn's head is. I know that's the cabinet back there, right? Roughly. It's obviously not perfect, but we have this kind of sense. So I imagine that if you're blind, that advances so much more.
No, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Maybe.
Let's get back to the
That's
story.
some blind news for you guys. The 11th of October 2020, 2:10 p.m. That's after the last journey, same day. After the last entry. We spent the last hour in the hot tub. Very nice. But I kept, the new Borat film is coming out. I couldn't stop myself from doing that. Actually, it is out. Available now. I love Borat.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Borat. Yeah.
Wish we were. Very nice. But I kept seeing something darting among the trees. Even back inside, I feel like I was being watched. My husband thinks I'm going crazy. Maybe I am. Now back to the offer. Yeah, I think you probably are. Maybe drink some beer and chill out. This page had turned out with the same neat, tight writing with the entry before, but the page went on. The writing became larger and more erratic, slanting across the page. The last entry on the page was the most haphazard looking. The 11th of October 2020, 8 p.m. The noises are back, but now there's chanting too. My husband says it's the neighbors, but it isn't a language we know. I see glowing red lights in the woods. I'm afraid to close my eyes. My husband says I'm overreacting. I don't think I can trust him anymore.
It's a party.
Chanting in a foreign language?
Well, yes! People speak different languages.
No, I know, but you know, you can tell in something like Czech, the language, or Ukrainian doesn't just randomly sound satanic.
Yes, but
or like chanting. Unless they're singing like some sort of song.
Yeah, but they chant the football match like, go on!
England!
Yeah, but people, they just chat.
I mean, you know, like when someone sings in Spanish, you know, excuse my poor singing here, but there's a song like in Spanish that goes, Lo que pasó, pasó. Right? That doesn't sound like chanting.
I'm not saying that, but you haven't heard every language in the world.
Vamos a la playa.
There's more than just languages in Europe, you know.
Yeah, I know, but you know, most languages, I suppose, but this is America. How many, you know, chanting languages do you get?
America is built on immigrants.
Yeah, of course, but okay, maybe, fine. You're explaining this. See, you're trying to ruin the spooky atmosphere, but the real spooktacular people here, they know that this is Satan.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Chanting? Now I'm not really sure that this was a joke. However, I strained my own ears in the quiet of the cabin and listened. The sun had definitely gone down now, but it was still raining. I could hear dripping outside. Maybe if they were losing your mind. It did sound a little bit like licking. I admit, then I gasped and turned the page. Even if it all was a joke, the next pages were barely legible, scribbles and symbols and nonsense. I will try to write it down the best way I can for you. This is the guy writing the article.
Okay.
Not the people. I'm trying to do a different voice. 12th of October 2020, 8 a.m. I'm supposed to go home this morning. I can't believe I stayed in the woods all by myself all weekend. All of this alone. Okay, so basically, just for you guys to know, Woods, a lot of this is spelt wrong. The A's on all have little circles on top of them. All of this alone and made me a little paranoid. I'm panicking. The book I found. It is still wet for some reason, like it has been in the rain all weekend. On second thought, I don't think I will leave. I want to stay here forever. I want to become one with Olgugu. And then it's like some squiggly lines, and it's spelt with like O's of lines through it, and it kind of looks Swedish.
Oh, okay. Maybe they just love nature.
This woman's going crazy. Olgugu, what the fuck is Gugu?
Google is a lovely word.
Jesus, I just think of some weird like satanic chanting kind of bushman. You know the bushman of Los Angeles, the guy that.
Those little toys you got. What I maybe remember wrong, but I swear those little toys you used to get, and used to get in a little packet, and they're called Goo-Goos.
Goo-Goos.
Yeah, the little toys, and you collect them all, and had the little characters, and they like had a box of man.
Yeah, little satanic characters. Yeah.
Yes, little satanic characters, yes. Kids were trading, yes. Yeah. I'll give you the Zodiac Killer for the Ted Bundy, yes. I remember that.
Oh, great.
I loved primary, when I was primary school, yes, I did that all the time, yes.
Yeah. The bottom of that page was just odd symbols and I had never seen before. The next and final page was simply Goo-Goo written over and over again, covering the entire page. I rolled my eyes and closed the guest book. Very funny, people. I got up and tossed it back to the basket with the other books, then rifled through them to see if there was anything good that I missed, maybe something better than this fake monster story. Behind the travel guides was a small leather book that I hadn't noticed before. Curious, I picked it up. It was strangely wet, like it had been there in the rain all weekend.
Oh, bit weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I'm trying to think of science to explain that, but...
Well, that's weird. So do you think that this is real or fake?
It could be plausible. It could be real. It could be. Look, it's... People go insane all the time.
Maybe.
People have, they wake, people have imagined stuff, so it could be just a person losing their mind.
Yeah, but see the... But how's the book wet inside? He's tossing through the books of the guest books, and how does this book happen to land here? Of course, he's here. This happened, 2 days before he was reading it, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So how is the book wet? How is it there? Obviously, they're in the same lodge and everything, right? But how is the book wet? Is it wet with Satan water or something? Is that why it's wet?
I could have spelled tea on it. How much times have you spelled tea on textbooks and that?
Yeah, but he said wet, not just stained. Wet.
Oh, it could be fresh tea.
For 2 days?
Yeah. Could
All
be,
right. Well, everyone, if you think that your house is haunted, if you think that you're getting chased by a satanic cult, just blame it on tea. Mostyn Farker, 2020, demonologist. Bro scientist, demonologist.
I am actually a tech bro.
And a tech bro. He
I am
identifies as a tech bro.
I am a tech bro, guys.
Oh god.
That means I'm better than everyone.
I kind of like this story, whether it's true or not, but I can't decide if it is.
I can see it being true, but I just think it's...
Maybe partially.
But people could exaggerate.
I think maybe somebody wrote that because it's Halloween in the book. Maybe they were having a go. But the wet book, that's strange. Maybe the author added this, the guy writing, maybe he added it to make it look more scary than it was.
The room could be really, a lot of humidity.
Moist. Yeah, but why are not all the books wet? Just the one that's wet.
Maybe the other one's
just
kept
the one weird leather book.
Leather is bad, maybe? I don't know. Who has a leather book, though?
Well, I told you weird because in Harry Potter's depiction, the depiction, the Necronomicon is a leather book. It's leather and it has like a belt on it so you can keep it closed.
It sounds like
so the evil doesn't seep out of the book.
It sounds like 50 Shades of Grey.
What, kinky?
Yeah, a belt on a book. Yes.
No, I know, but have you ever seen old Victorian map books? They had belts on them to keep them shut.
Yes, but...
So they wouldn't get ruined in transport. They were just leather covered books.
Yeah.
It was a normal thing to do back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still kinky. Doesn't make any difference.
Victorian explorers are kinky.
Yeah.
Alright. I suppose they would have been. They probably got bored.
Yeah, they would have.
You know, they were probably texting. They're probably sending letters to their wives.
Yes.
Oh, do you reckon that they over-exaggerate everything they did? They were like, oh, well, dear wife, Sam Austin, your husband, has unfortunately come down with a case of cholera after fighting 3 tigers today. But in reality, he just fell down the stairs and he was fucking his other crew members with some weird kinky book.
Yeah, everyone exaggerates in history. You know, that's the whole point, to make them sound bigger and better than in reality they were.
Yeah.
People do that all the time. People, for example, I think in World War II, people make it sound like Hitler was the ultimate unstoppable machine. I think, if the USA didn't join in, the Soviets would have still defeated Hitler at the end of the day. But it's just how history works out. They like having this idea of overcoming this huge, monstrous tyranny.
Mm-hmm.
It, makes it so much more exciting, as humans. Imagine if we watch Avengers, and you watch Avengers, and you saw Thanos defeated in the first scene.
Yeah.
That's, the whole movie done. Mm-hmm. There's no climax or build up, or there's no struggle.
Of course there wouldn't be, no.
And that movie would be terrible. Simple as that. It's just the same applies throughout history.
Yeah. I agree. So, Moston.
Yes. This is a long silence.
This is a very long Reddit post. There's another 3-part post saying, my wife found a book in the woods. Now she's acting strange. And it's by the same guy that wrote the other Goo article.
So, a sequel.
Yeah, there's 4 parts to it.
Jeez.
So there's the first one, there's day 3, day 1, and day 2. So we could possibly do that, but it's very long. I'm not sure if we just want to make this the Goo experience.
I think it'd be better to diversify.
Yeah, I think so.
Comment below, guys, and we'll do a special podcast.
If you want to have a Goo podcast where we read out the rest of that story, why not? Comment below and we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do some spooky stories. Hello, travelers. This is me, your friendly neighborhood Satan cult follower. I see that you're listening to the Late Night BS podcast. If you'd like, you can join my wood cult of the Goo guy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm not really good at being Satan, am I? I'll just let the podcast continue. But you can follow me into the woods. Yeah. Yeah. Just join the cult. Yeah, that'll be great. There are 3 choices that I will give you. There is. These are the titles. Do you want a cigarette?
Yes, please.
We can't smoke in here.
Oh.
There's a man in my room.
Is.
Or I think I'm already dead.
Oh, 3 interesting titles.
Yeah.
I want a cigarette. It reminds me of Thank You for Smoking. Have you ever watched that movie?
Never.
Comment below if you guys have watched that movie, but it's a fantastic movie. You need to watch it. It has the guy who was in Batman who played Two-Face.
God, no idea what his name is.
Yeah, it's went in my head. He's in it and he's amazing. And it's basically talking about the idea of the tobacco industry saying that at the end of the day, smoking should be a choice rather than something that it should be, told you ban from. It's an interesting moral debate.
It's cool.
It's interesting, but in general, guys, don't smoke.
Yeah, don't smoke. It's bad.
Yeah.
Putting tar in your lungs,
Yeah, you leave it for the roads. We're struggling enough for roads to be
that's
retarded
true,
here.
Yeah.
If everybody just stopped smoking, we could have nice flat roads.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Use all that tar elsewhere,
Yeah.
In people's lungs.
What
do you think? Think I'm already dead? Man in my room, or can I have a cigarette?
I fancy a man in my room.
Of course you fancy a man in your room.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I'm a man.
Can you be in my room?
No. I'm already in the same room as you, so.
Oh.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah, don't worry, pork. It's okay. We haven't had any activity from the pork recently, so maybe he's just really he's just vibing.
Twice he's just dead, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead. I can't even squeeze him back to life. You do CPR.
Well, no, it's spooky season. He might come back to life. Leave him. You okay? You okay, Pork? Audio listeners who have no idea what's going on. We just have a pork that's wrapped in toilet paper, dressed up as a mummy. You there! You're listening to the Late Night BS podcast. And if you love listening to the podcast, you're gonna love our Instagram page. That's right here. Right on the screen. Right there. Right there. Click it. Click it now. Click it now. Come on. You know you want to follow it. Back to the stories.
Just do it!
There's a man in my room. He doesn't think I notice him, but I do. I notice everything. He's a small man, maybe 5'2", thin with a protruding belly. His hair is long and greasy, and his skin looks a little yellow. Maybe from a booze I smell that he's been breathing heavy in my closet. He's been there for 2 days already. He comes out at night to look for food and watch me sleep. He doesn't know that I don't sleep. I think he got in through the kitchen door and that I always leave open, just in case. Or maybe the broken window in the bathroom. Either way, he's here. I can't say I don't enjoy the company. It's been a while since I've ever had anyone over. I think I'll let him linger around a few more days. I almost feel bad for the guy. If I was capable of feeling anything at all, he doesn't realize that I'm the spider in the web, and the kitchen door was left open just for him.
It sounds like a deep Martin Scorsese movie.
Oh, the person just said that they're a spider.
They're saying that he's caught in his web. So who's the bad guy in the story?
I don't sleep. He's got through the door that I always leave open just in case, or maybe broke him in the bathroom. Everybody's here. Since I've had anyone over. Oh, I know. I think that this is like a small homeless alcoholic man coming into some abandoned building where the spider is, and this is the spider's building and the spider's point of view.
If you say so, yes.
What do you think?
I just think it was a lonely man. He broke into the house.
Yeah. Of the spider?
Yeah. No, not spider. I don't think it's no
This
spider.
is the person.
I think the spider is like a metaphor.
Maybe. Comment below what you guys think about this story.
That's
in my opinion, kind of trash.
I think it's a masterpiece. It's really deep. It's layered.
Alright. Layered like bread.
It's layered like an onion.
Like onions have layers, yeah.
Yeah, many layers.
Great quote, by the way. Fantastic.
It was a great philosopher.
Yeah, Shrek.
Yes.
Next to the greats like Homer.
Yeah, Shrek 316. Onions have layers. Others have layers.
Oh, great. So maybe let's choose a better title than There's a Man in My Room.
I want a cigarette.
You want a cigarette?
Yeah,
after that story, yeah. I think so. Do you want a cigarette? Deeper still, you're sinking into the couch. Deeper still, Mary, can you hear me now? Yes. She has the most wonderful voice. She's a new patient. I'm looking forward to working with her. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and so far, I can honestly say that as though I'm doing my part to make our world a better place. Where are you now, Mary? I'm in a dark, happy place. Good! Now I want you to tell me something.
Is that a cigarette she's smoking or weed?
I don't know if she's smoking anything right now. She's sinking into the couch deeper right now.
Yeah.
Now I want you to tell me to begin your habit and what caused you to start smoking. She begins her story, and of course it's filled with trauma and anxiety, so much hurt and loss. So many good people have led astray by wolves, men and women whose only thoughts are about themselves and what they can get. People can be so terrible. Nearly everything wrong with anyone's life can be traced back to a form of trauma or a lack of dealing with it properly. Sometimes, if it can be dramatic here, you can confront a problem, gut it so to speak, before you can truly move on. How did it make you feel when those girls said those things about you? Awful. They made me feel my life was terrible during high school. No one bothers to think that perhaps the thing they run into, in this case cigarettes, is the very thing that represents a deeper problem, and every time they engage in it, it reminds them of a subconscious level of trauma.
Wow, deep.
This story seems kind of dark, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's too relatable.
Yeah?
I think, a lot of people, suffer from this, addiction to cigarettes. And
I thought you were gonna say something like you have an addiction to palm bears or something and you just can't get enough of them.
Who doesn't love palm bears?
I love a good palm bear.
It's underrated, the snack.
This podcast is not sponsored by any snack. I wish it was. Any snack company want to sponsor us? Come on, our hands are open.
It's against the law to sponsor snacks.
Is it?
Like on certain times and certain
Never
programs.
mind.
I think it has to be at certain times, and it depends on the program. I think it's, for example, on children's TV, it's banned any chocolates or cereal or anything like that.
Wow.
So remember when you grew up, you had a Cadbury's, and you're like, oh, I want a Cadbury's chocolate after the advert, but that's banned from all that to prevent it from happening. I think it's a recent law, if I remember reading correctly.
Nice.
So there's an interesting fact, guys. More you know. Woohoo!
I retool her subconsciousness, giving her the ability to fight her own demons with little to no conscious effort. It only takes 2 minutes and 8 seconds to help her break her addiction. It's that easy. Now it's time to take a better look at Mary. For some reason, a hunch. I don't think my work is finished. Alright, Mary. I would like you to tell me something about the worst thing you've ever done. I killed a little boy with my car.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was a dramatic U-turn, jeez.
Bingo. I always trust my gut. I urged...
Bingo!
Yeah, this guy, he's crazy. He's a doctor, he's crazy.
Bingo.
I don't know.
So, a doctor, saying, the interview in like Ted Bundy, Ted's like, I killed 50 people. Bingo, we've got him, guys!
We got him, boys! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I urge her to give me every detail. 2 years ago, she hit a little boy who was outside on his bike in the middle of the night. That doesn't really make her a monster, but what she says is a different story. It was after midnight. I don't know why he was even out. He was so little. The news the next morning said he was 9. I thought about stopping the car, but I was afraid of what might happen if I stayed. It was his fault. I pull out my special notepad and go down the list of names and addresses until I found the one that she's appropriate for. Alright, Mary, I want to hear me very carefully. I give her a prompt and I ask her to repeat after me. On November 2nd at 1:23 a.m, I am to go to 5762 Oakhurst Lane. There is a key hidden in the third flower pot from the left of the front door. There will be a woman sleeping upstairs. I will grab a knife from her kitchen and bury the blade to her left eye while she sleeps. What the fuck?
It's just like the doctor, like a part of like the hitman mafia, is like hypnotizing this girl.
Maybe, it seems so. I go through the rest of the process and then after it's all done, I snap my fingers and she wakes up. How do you feel, Mary? Good. Do you want a cigarette? No.
Wow.
Oh my god, he's ingrained in her. He's ingrained in her memory now. She's gonna go and kill this person because he knows that she's killed someone before and run away from the scene. So he's taking advantage of that.
Wow.
I like this one.
I like that. It's deep. Do you think that is possible? You could be hypnotized to do that?
Yes. Hypnosis is a weird thing I've never understood, but I watched a video of someone and they were basically doing like hypnosis about lemons. I know it sounds weird, but they were getting hypnotized and the woman was basically, she had a lemon and then she didn't have a lemon and then she had a lemon and stuff like that. So they were hypnotized to the point where they couldn't tell if the lemon was in their hand or not.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
and it was just one object, it was a lemon.
Wow.
Like they would hypnotize them to a point where they would be holding the lemon and just speaking to her, and they'd be like, what are you holding in your hands? They'd be like, oh, nothing. And it would be a lemon. Because they would speak about like lemons and everything, normalize them so much, like she would make them feel like they smell lemons or they see lemons, things like that, just about lemons. I know it's a weird thing, but she was trying to prove of how easy it is to hypnotize someone pretty much.
It's weird. It shows you how fragile the human mind is.
Yeah.
It can be manipulated very easily to whatever you're doing. Wow.
This podcast is getting somewhat deep.
Well, we should make it a scientific podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
Earth's flat. It's gotta get out there.
Yeah, okay, yes.
That's why I chose to study engineering. Earth's flat.
Yes, engineers, they don't rely on that.
Engineer?
Yes.
Earth is flat.
Yes. I'm looking forward when you build the next Boeing planes.
They'll be flat.
They'll be flat, yes.
You there. You're listening to the Late Night Bullshit Podcast. And you should listen more. Marston, how about this story, right? I'm taking it out of the deep part of my suit here, right? What is this?
It's a can of tinnies.
That's 2 buttons. What do 2 buttons have to do with hauntings?
2 buttons to do with hauntings.
Ghost stories coming up here. So the buttons. And that's why I'm going to read the story. The most extreme haunted house.
My brain is broken from that sentence, but I just accepted it. Let's get on with the
Exactly.
story.
Let's go on with the story. Exactly. That's exactly the attitude we need on the Late Night BS podcast. Late Night BS, that's how we roll. That's how we roll here. Most extreme haunted house. There had been a lot of activity over at the old slaughterhouse on the outskirts of Vilicia on the last month, for most of the month. And by the end of October, the flyers were up all over town. Some company from the west coast that no one had ever heard of was putting on one of those extreme haunted houses for one night only, Halloween. Nothing ever happens in our town, so it was something everyone was excited about. My friend and I got out to the slaughterhouse just after the sun went down, and the field was already full of cars. The cars were parked by the rear exit, and we had to walk around the huge metal building to reach the line. By the time we had got within sight of the entrance, we would have been behind at least 300 people. Big turnout for a little town. We were in line for almost an hour before it started to move. Joey was way more excited than I was. He really loved crap like this. As soon as the line started to move, the screams and noises from inside spread out all over the dirt field. The crowd was laughing and cheering. I saw Holly Jones up in line, ahead of us. Joey kept teasing me that I was a coward for not going to see her. I tried to work up the nerve, but it never came. I figured out it would be better time for me to fumble my way through some kind of pickup line. Lots of the faces in the line in front of us were familiar, but most were not. That's weird. People were coming from all over to see this damn thing. We were the last ones. A few people had walked up and had seen how long the line was and how slow it was moving and decided they had better way to spend their evening than standing in a line. It was 2 hours of waiting before we got too close to the entrance. The guy up front was taking the $5 fee, was dressed as a bloody clown. I hate clowns. Who doesn't? My legs were tired and I was over it already. I could hear chainsaws coming from inside that ran a steamy rhythm under all this screaming and people begging for their lives. I saw Holly Jones go in along with her friends. I've pined over her for the last 6 years, and now we were both seniors. It was strange. I started to get scared at the thought of missing my chance to at least try to get to know her and tell her how much I liked her. For some reason, all the screaming from inside was only making my anxiety worse. It got to the point where I didn't even want to go in. Joey? Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna go into it. What the hell are you talking about? We're at the front of the line, eh?
Jeez. I suddenly becomes
Joey's a gangster.
It suddenly becomes Tight Lips Johnny. Yes, yes.
Hey, Johnny Tight Lips. Hey, you know why his lips are tight? Because once he ran his mouth at a poker game, and Big Paulie, you know what he got? He got a vice, and he put his lips in, he kept on twisting, and now his lips are tight. That's right. Along with Tony 2 times, he does everything twice, so they viced his lips twice. Oh my god. Good fellas. I'm going to go back out and wait for Holly. I'll meet you when you get out. He complained and made fun of me, but I didn't care. I left the line and made the long walk back to the car. I walked next to the side of the building and found my way into some really nasty mud that was hiding in the shadows. By the time I got to the other side of the building, my phone went off. It was Joey on a video call. He was going in. I'm going in! Great. I walked back towards the parking lot. I didn't want to talk to Holly right outside the exit. I thought that would be a little too creepy. I sat on the hood of the car and watched Joey go through the house.
That sounds
much more creepy.
Yeah,
Not better. Well, as I kept an eye on the exit, they put a red neon sign over it that read, "No exit." The video from Joey's phone is a little shaky. Yep, lots of clowns jumping out amidst parts of pieces of people. It wasn't sorry I missed it. Holy shit, dude! One of them is following me! He pointed the phone behind him, and there was a clown that was crawling behind him like a dog wearing a collar around its neck. The thing had no shirt on, and its sinewy, blood-smeared body was moving past in a way that I wasn't used to seeing people with. He's following me, dude! Hey, look at this motherfucker! He thinks he's a clown! He's funny! Hey, he thinks he's funny! You think you're funny? You're a fucking clown? You think I'm a clown, eh?
It's 50 Shades of Grey.
This guy has suddenly turned to Joe Pesci.
It's an Italian porno with 50 Shades of Grey.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, I added that part. He didn't say that part at the end. Yeah, real scary, Joey. I looked back up to the exit, still no one. The maze inside the old building must have been huge. I looked at the parking lot and then something started to whisper in my brain that something wasn't right. The lot was still full of cars and I had been inside my head so much that I first walked out, I haven't even noticed. Hey Joey, dude, check this out. I looked back down at my phone. There were bodies, had to be close to 100 of them, hanging all over the walls of a huge room. All of the bodies had been disemboweled and their entrails were laying in piles on the ground beneath them. As Joey moved the camera around, something caught my eye. Joey, go back. Like this! Joey swept the camera backward and there she was on the wall. Holly Jones. I saw my shoes out of the corner of my eye underneath my phone. They were covered in red mud. No one was coming out of that building. Get out of there, Joey, run! I'm almost out, dude. Cam your titties, eh? He's a real fucking mafia guy, this guy. Run, Joey! I could hear a hissing sound coming from the phone. Joey turned around, and a dog-like clown was withering just behind him. Hey, bad clown dog, bad! I screamed for Joey to run as the clown pushed its weight back onto its haunches. Joey dropped the phone when the thing struck. My last memories of Joey Santone. Oh my god, he is in the mafia, it's Joey Santone! Joey Santone heard sounds of him being ripped to pieces, begging for his life. Then I heard the garbled voice of a man yelling, "There's one more outside." Well, yelling, but you know. I ran off into the night. Joey had the keys to the car. I wanted to call the police, but I didn't want to slow down, so I kept running. It was 30 minutes of running through dark fields before I felt safe enough to call the police. The next day, we went out that 347 people were murdered in that old slaughterhouse. There was no sign of the people that put on the show.
I like that story.
I like it, especially because of Joey Santano.
I really think Joey Santana should like a movie just about himself.
Yeah.
He just did be amazing. Jeez.
I like that. That was good.
I like that because you could see that to be plausible.
What? What kind of things do you think are plausible?
Well,
you don't think that the satanic cult in the woods is plausible, but you think some murderous clown on a rampage covered as a carnival is possible.
Well, H.H. Holmes, the famous first ever American serial killer, he just got people in to stay in the hotel rooms, and then he had a system where it had trapdoors and that, and eventually the truck just dropped down. He was just a fish and killing system. So it's not implausible. 400 is quite a busy night, you could say, but it's not implausible. I like that. It was a good story.
I like it too. So Marston, what's this? Apart from ugly. I don't know why I'm doing a mafia voice, but what is this, eh?
It's an Italian porno director's face.
Well, yeah, I just wanted the last part. A face.
You want a face?
I got a face.
You got a face.
You think I'm funny? You think my face is funny?
You're a funny guy.
Hey, I'm a funny guy like a fucking clown.
Yeah.
I entertain you.
Yeah.
I entertain you. Think I'm fucking funny?
Yeah,
I'll show you fucking funny. That's right. Yeah, this guy thinks he's funny. This wise guy thinks he's funny. I'm gonna put on the killing gloves right now, and we'll see who's funny here. Yeah?
You can see it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see who's funny here. Yeah. Ah! Well, now that my adversary is out of the show, I have a great story. Right? It's called The Face. A true story. And, I did want to share it with Marston, but sadly I did have to murder him on the podcast. Just kidding, he's alive. I think.
Nah.
Oh,
Nah,
he is.
nah.
Great. Fantastic. Right. Sadly, he's still here with us, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, guys. It's fine. Next week, Porg will be replacing me, so you got a new co-host.
I like Porg. He hasn't spoken in a while, sadly.
He's
all mic'd up. No activity in this house.
Yeah.
Look, we spoke about the house being so haunted and everything, but now that we want it to be haunted, it just isn't.
The ghosts are in bed still.
To be fair, it is so late in the morning that I won't even say what time it is. But this is the Halloween podcast, so that's why it's late.
Yes.
Alright, so, you ready for this, Mostyn? Some more spooky stories? Probably the last one for today. I think we'll wrap up with this story, and then just a little bit of good old chat.
I have to speak to you. Darn it.
I know. So, the face. True story. So this happened yesterday. I have an iced window in my bathroom. An iced window just makes everything super blurry, so that no one can see anything looking in. The downside is it's hard for me to see out. I was taking a shower, and when I stepped out, I could see a black blog outside the window. This was in broad daylight. If I had two little white dots in its face, its eyes I guess. I ran into the window and opened it, but it was like it disappeared into thin air. Even spookier, my bathroom is on the 2nd floor. Ooh. Ooh. You guys spooked yet? Because I
pissed myself, mate.
Really? Can I feel?
Yeah.
For all your listeners, Mostyn's left trouser leg is very warm. I think he has indeed peed himself.
Warms yourself up. That's what you do in scuba diving.
Just piss.
Yeah.
Right into the ocean.
Well, yeah.
It's not polluting anyone.
Well, the salt water breaks it down. Thanks to the chlorine.
Look, our fire's gone out, mate.
I don't need to restart the fire, do you?
No.
No?
Alright.
Oh my goodness.
And here, kids, is one that I prepared earlier. A full functioning fire. Amazing, isn't it? So.
Are you Houdini?
Yeah.
Houdini?
Yeah.
Houdini?
Nee. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I am, yeah. I'm magic.
You're magic, man.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Alright. So, what's your plans for Halloween? What's your plans for today, Mostyn?
My plan?
Yeah.
My plan is mainly sleeping.
Well, do you know what my plan is?
What is it?
My plan is to fall into a ditch and come out 7 years later.
I like that plan.
Well, this is what happened to Scary Stories user / space speed 8 days ago. Are you ready for this?
I am.
Your ass
excited.
is ready?
I don't know why it needs to be ready, but yes.
Alright, ass is prepared? Great.
Yeah.
My name was Apollo. Yes, that was my actual name. I lived in a small
It's
town.
Apollo Crews.
Apollo Creed. Oh, Crews. Oh, wow. Sorry, why did I name a fictional movie character?
Apollo Crews, or you could name it Apollo Creed. I like Apollo Creed, yes. I can't believe it's a shame he died in the boxing match against.
Yeah, I know.
You know. It's a sad time in the boxing world when
when
he
Rocky
died.
Balboa.
I was so proud. Remember Rocky went to the ring and you saw him dying in his hands. That was the most emotional moment in boxing history.
Boxing, I know. Rocky was the best boxer of all time.
I know he was. He came in.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that Rocky has a twin brother, Sylvester Stallone?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I know. Just like you know how God, Jesus, there's two people that.
The Rock.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson. Thank you. Wait, cut. And look at that camera. Or actually, just keep a look at each other and I'll just cut to that one and you say, and then you just say The Rock.
The Rock.
No, say it soon. You know, like, what's his name?
The Rock.
The Rock, yeah. Did you know that The Rock and Dwayne Johnson are twin brothers? Yeah. The wrestler and the actor. They are twins. Yeah.
It makes sense.
It does,
They
yeah.
look very similar people.
Yeah, they are.
Wow.
In fact, some people believe that they're the same person. That's the urban legend.
No, that's fake news,
That
mate.
when the moons align, the stars align, when the planets are all in one line, that Dwayne The Rock Johnson becomes one.
It's like a solar eclipse that kind of
Yeah.
combine.
When Dwayne and The Rock come together, they become Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Wait, so what? If one walks in front of another, it just will break the world.
I think so. Yes.
Oh my
This is really deep in the Necronomicon, that book we spoke about before. It's in there.
It makes sense though. How can the
It's
Rock?
called the Pebble Eclipse.
Wow.
He
Makes
goes back
sense.
in time and becomes Dwayne the Pebble Johnson.
Makes sense, because how can a person be such an amazing actor, person, character,
And
wrestler
at the same time.
He can't. He's stealing too much jobs, mate.
He is, yeah. He's just
Too good.
He's
It makes
better
sense.
than
That's when
Superman.
makes that.
yeah. That's why you never see them in the same place.
That is true.
Because if they were in the same photograph together, right? If they're in the same place, the world would end.
It would just break the internet. Yeah.
No,
Wow.
the world.
The world.
The world would end as we know it. The universe.
That makes
It'd
sense.
be another catastrophe after the dinosaurs.
There'll be another
The
Big
Dwayne
Bang.
awakening.
So it'll be the Big Rock.
Yeah, the big rock.
Wow.
Not the Big Bang, the big rock. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
go. The universe would restart. That's the myth. Yeah,
I think it's the truth to it.
I think it's true
Yeah.
as well. Yeah,
We need to get Oxford and Cambridge scientists on this
we
right
do.
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think we should. Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, podcast listeners right here, or viewers, if you're looking at me right now, if you don't believe this, you're stupid. Get out. Right now, get out. If you don't believe in the Dwayne awakening, get out of here.
No, keep watching so we get all the reviews and the money.
Yeah, also, even if you don't believe, you're only allowed to leave 5-star reviews on this podcast. I know maybe sounds a bit biased, but trust me, you really do want to leave a 5-star review. You do.
You don't want to see, if you don't, the rocks will come together.
Dwayne
and the rock.
and The Rock will come together in your house.
And the world will end. You know, just
And
kaboom.
your house will be the beginning of the world's end. Think about that.
There you go.
Think about that for a minute.
It's very deep.
It is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's get back to work.
Well, let's hope this story is deep, because a man fell into a hole, apparently. Well, he was named Apollo, and lived in a small business town. Where did I get the word business? A small town area in a big city. Where I lived was basically a huge forest area, and I lived in a house that was conveniently right up against a huge forest, with a small creek. I always used to go inside and play at the entrance of the forest sometimes, even daring myself to walk 4 meters in. But that was always as far as I was willing to go, since the huge trees covered the skylight, leaving no light illuminating inside the forest. Well, I always tried to find ways to see what it was like inside there without having to go inside. It's like The Rock and Dwayne. They try to get close to each other, but they know that if they do, the world will end. The rock fission, the fusion, it will end the world.
Makes sense.
That's why we still haven't cracked atomic fusion fully, because they know that
So-
it will be the first step to The Rock and Dwayne
So
coming together.
if we put them together, we get infinite power.
Well, that's what ends the world, yeah. That's what's gonna explode the whole universe.
But
And
we can
then
use
it's
it.
gonna implode.
Yeah, but we get infinite power.
Yeah, but the world's end.
You get infinite power, mate.
I mean-
you could get faster Wi-Fi, better computers. Everything's better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
For a split second of time, yeah, and then we're just dust.
Think about that split
Enough.
second, guys. How much
Imagine
appliances you can
everybody
employ.
would have gigabit internet.
And also, think about it, and we can cook toast at the same time. Wow, this.
The world would be a perfect place if Dwayne and The Rock
we should
came
put,
into one room.
we should
yeah.
put them in the Hadron Collider in France and
Oh
just
my
throw them
God.
around.
And they're just run towards
Yes.
each other. Jeez. One day I went around the neighborhood to this cul-de-sac. They had a small alley leading to a road only going left and right for a short distance before leading to a dead end on either side. On the right side of the dead end was a small opening that you could see inside the forest from. So got closer and closer and looked inside the opening. I saw the ending of a small creek was rushing water leading to a small opening or something. He said opening like 3 times. I was amazed and I sat on a boulder listening to the sound of rushing water for like 20 minutes. First of all, the standard of English here is not very high. From the point
Sorry, Shakespeare.
From the point on, maybe he means from that point on. From that point on, I knew I needed to go inside and see the whole thing for myself. So I went back around and walked up to the actual entrance of the forest where I played. Since my house was right next to it, I knew that my mom or sister would spot me before I could go in. So I ran full speed before I could possibly be caught or spotted. That is how you should run into danger, everyone. Full speed. That turned out to be a huge mistake, because I was so caught up with running that I never saw before where I was going, and I fell right into a ditch. I wasn't hurt to the point where I needed to go to ER, but I had a few cuts and a ton of bruises. I wasn't about to take a chance of getting trapped in this ditch with a medium-sized entry. No wonder, never saw it. And a large cave like a hole below it, where I fell. I brushed myself off, cursing under my breath. Fuck. And I pushed some dirt off to the floor in an attempt to pack into a stair so that I could hoist myself up. I stepped onto the makeshift stair and pulled myself up and out of the ditch. I had a short sigh of relief as I once brushed myself off it. I shook my head and realized I had a bump on the side of it. I thought I might have hit my head with the fall and started walking out of the forest. I had my head down, I was panting. The back of my neck was getting rid of small patches of dirt and the hair. I finally saw some transition on the dirt path onto the pavement. I smiled and lifted my head. It took me a moment to realize that it was pure daylight when I had entered the forest, and now it was dark as midnight. I was confused and maybe I had been mistaken by that I had went in at night to avoid detection. I was surely confused and couldn't really remember. So I started walking towards my house, ready to be grilled with questions as to where I was and if I was with someone. But right as I entered my driveway, I noticed that there was a pinned on top of our fence post. I walked up to it and tugged on the sheet of paper, ripping off the nail. Missing. I chuckled at it, and I looked at a picture of a so-called missing person. What? It was me. Yeah, chuckled.
Chuckled? Someone's missing? That's not really funny, is it? A bit of a sick move.
A picture of me in my baseball gear sporting a trophy and a medal. Below it written, missing since October 20th, 2018. That's today, I said quietly. The flyer had other information too, like hair color black, eye color blue, height 5 foot 10 inches, small man, couldn't achieve Tinder dominance, sorry about that. It said my age, 14. Okay, maybe not achieving Tinder dominance at 14, but...
Well, 5 foot 10 at that age, potential growth.
Jeez, man's gonna be like 7 feet.
6'2", 6'3", yeah, pretty tall.
I was so confused and thought it was probably my sister playing a joke on me since I was out so late and never came for lunch and dinner. The last thing written on the poster at the bottom was a phone number that I never recognized, as well as an address that I had never seen before. Now I was confused. Some joke, I said. I scoffed. I walked up to the front door of the house and rang the doorbell, knowing everyone would be worried sick and come rushing over to the door. But nobody came. I rang again, this time twice in a second. I thought they would probably went to bed, so I turned around and was about to walk away when the porch lights went on. And so I turned around and smiled as the door opened, and an unfamiliar man approached and said, "What you want, kid?" I was shocked and replied, Who are you?" He looked at me and raised an eyebrow and said, "I'm Randy. Now get off my property before I call the cops."
It's Macho Man.
It's Macho Man, right?
I'm Randy. Now get off my property before I call the cops. Ooh, yeah.
But this is my house. Why are you in my house? I asked frantically.
No, son, this is my house, and I don't know why you're here, or where I'm covered with dirt. Oh yeah, but you're better scram. Oh yeah.
He replied in an angry voice.
Macho Man's just no voice is angry.
He just choke slams him away. I was so confused and upset. I guess he saw the look on my face and said,
"Look, kid, you lost someone in the water."
Yes, please. I replied in a shaky voice.
"Come on in."
You're fucking offered by the water by the Macho Man. It's
You
no more.
have to take it, yeah. He said once holding the open door. I walked in, and sure enough, I barely recognized the place. All the walls were different colors, and there was no longer any of her family pictures on the mantle.
"Here, kid,"
Randy said as he handed me a water bottle.
"Now, I really don't know you, kid. Yeah, and I sure as hell don't know why. Yeah, you're still in this house of yours. Yeah, especially since I brought the dart for 7 years ago. Oh yeah, 7
7 years ago, I replied loudly. But this is my house. I was all here all my life and I woke up here today. I continued,
Oh, you must have been one of those kids who lived here before. Oh, yeah, I bought this place. Are you on drugs? Because sometimes drugs can cause memory relapses. Oh, yeah.
ooh, he replied, chuckling. Woo-wee, I can't...
Woo-wee, I can't believe kids these days are getting high at such young ages. Oh, yeah.
He continued, look, I gotta go, and I'm not on drugs, I replied angrily as I walked out the door. I walked onto the neighborhood street and looked into the forest. I quickly looked away, and 5 minutes to the elementary school. I walked over to the payphone and dialed my dad's number, 314-159-26535. Come on, Dad, please pick up, please. I said as the phone number rang, but the automatic operator spoke and said, the number is out of service. What are you kidding? I yelled. I pulled out the crumpled up flyer from my pocket and dialed the unfamiliar number. I waited and waited until I heard breathing on the other end. Hello?
Ooh, I like that. That is interesting.
I think Macho Man came in and genuinely murdered his family.
He came in. No, I think he just walked in.
I'm the Macho Man. No guilt. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you argue against him? No.
I would just let him take my house,
Just-
my wife, my family, everything. Macho Man can have, you can have it all, seriously.
Yeah, you can't argue against that man.
And if you do, you're gonna end up on the wrong side of a steel chair.
Imagine 7 years. It's happened in the past, But
7 years?
I think there could have been.
I don't think he's been stuck in the hole for 7 years.
Well, no, not that, but people been gone missing for 7 years and they come
Yeah.
back. Maybe it's some sort of suppression. Maybe got kidnapped and then and then for just remembering, I don't know. That's really
Kidnapped
interesting.
by the Macho Man.
Yes, the Macho Man kidnapped him, chucked her in the hole, chucked him in the hole, and then it's just wow.
Maybe.
That is interesting, that idea. But Jesus, Randy, he talks so much like a Macho Man. It's like, kids in the day, and it's the drugs. Back in my day,
Kids doing drugs. Oh, yeah.
yeah, back in my day, you only took steroids and vitamins.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Do you know, I think the Macho Man story is a great place to wrap up. We're approaching 2 hours.
Yes, that sounds a
What
plan.
do you think, Mostyn? How did you enjoy Halloween?
Well,
And
whatever.
before you leave, what was your favourite story?
The Macho Man says, oh, yeah, to me being a story. So 7 years. Oh, yes.
7 years stuck in a hole.
Oh, yes. I was stuck in hole for 7 years until I had started to lift, say your prayers and eat your vitamins, and that's when I became massive.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Yes. Matt, just to end it off,
Yeah.
imagine we had the Macho Man and Ronnie Coleman had
On
an
the
interview.
podcast.
Well, Macho Man's dead.
Oh, Macho Man is dead, yeah. But we could get a landline to him.
Or they contact the spirits then.
Yeah.
Imagine having a Ouija board and just go,
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
They're just shouting.
Oh, yeah.
That would be great, yeah.
yeah, that'd be fantastic. Jesus. Well, that's the end, guys.
Yeah, that is dead. Ah! You've got gloves. I'm gonna take my spooky mask for the end. Wow.
That was scary.
Look how long very long gone.
Yes. Yes, Agent 47.
Yes.
I feel more comfortable in that. It smells like cigarettes in this mask.
Smells like Teen Spirit in this mask.
Right, so, oh, yeah. Thank you all for listening to the Late Night BS Podcast Halloween special. Oh, yeah. Make sure to leave 5-star reviews only. Oh, yeah. And we will see you soon. Oh, yeah.